Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're making one of the things that I'm kind of known for, and that is my brown bag apple pie. It's interesting because it's cooked in a brown bag. Not many people cook things in brown bags. It has one crust on the bottom and a crumble on the top, and we're going to do a couple of experiments with it tonight. We're going to try it two different ways. We're going to try it with cold butter versus warm butter for our crumble top to see the differences it makes in texture. We are also going to be changing up the spice ever so slightly. We're going to be adding mace to one of our pies. I'm making two pies. So, mace, for those of you who don't know, I'll show you the little bottle. So yes, oh, come on, focus on the mace. There you go. So there's the mace. And what is mace? Mace is the sister spice to nutmeg. I didn't know this, but that's what it is. It's the outer part of the plant. The nutmeg itself is the inner seed. Mace is on the outside protecting the seed. It's interesting because it is the only plant in the world that has two spices come from it. Unlike other plants which has an herb and a spice, this one has two spices. So we're going to use the sister spices together and see if it makes a good change, or if we want to, keep doing this with my pie, or if this is a one and done thing. But we are going to find that out. So let's do this and see how everything comes out. For our ingredients for this, you will need an uncooked pie shell, half a cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 4 or 5 apples, and your spices. For our first pie, we have a half a teaspoon of each cinnamon and nutmeg. And for our second pie, we have a half a teaspoon of both nutmeg and cinnamon and a 1/4 teaspoon of mace. So this is just the ingredients for the filling. I will show you how to make the topping when we get to that point. Right now, focus on this. We're going to pull out the apple machine and get these apples sliced for both pies and get this started. This right here is my apple machine, which I absolutely can't stand going through a pie season without having. How this works is you pull the hook, you pull this arm back and let the hook fall back in place. It's going to twist with the handle and turn the apple. And this right here is a peeler, and this is a corer with a slicer attached. Now I'm gonna stick the apple on there, and then I'm going to get the bowl of apples out of the way so I can turn it. And then you just gotta keep it aligned and we'll go through just fine. There we go. Oops. This is what I'm talking about. Gotta keep it aligned. Okay. And whoops. There it is. Peeled and cored and sliced. All I have to do now is run a knife through it sideways, and we have apple pie pieces. I'm going to do this to all of my apples for the first pie. Okay, and I'm going to finish cutting up these. So as you can see, I just cut into like quarters about. You almost don't even have to do this. You could almost like break it up with your, spoon or whatever you're stirring this with if you want to. But I like to break it up with my knife. I'm gonna grab my big glass bowl and we'll mix this pie filling up. Into this lovely glass bowl, I am going to pour my sugar, my flour, and spices for my first pie. And my lemon juice. And grab a spoon and we're going to stir this. Okay, once this is all incorporated, we're going to add our apples to it, and that'll add more juice to it and make it thinner. Okay, now we're gonna throw in our apples. Come on. There you go. Now I'm using 5 apples here. 3 of them were small. They're gonna cook down. If all of your apples were large, I would say definitely use 4 if you're using a smaller pie pan. The advice my mother would give you at this point is, how many apples do I add, Mom? You add as many apples as it takes to fill the pie pan. And that's what she would tell you. Okay, so here comes our first pie crust. And we're going to pour this in. And then we'll make our topping. Okay, so there it is. All of that lovely apple filling into the crust. Whoops. And now we'll put that to the side and mix up our topping real quick. Alright, for our topping, we are going to need equal portions of butter, flour, and sugar, 1/2 cup increments. I'm going to pour them all into the bowl, and then I'm going to, using a couple of knives, cut this like you would pastry dough, just to make it crumbly. And this is going to take a few minutes because this is very, very cold butter. So I'm going to start working on this, and we'll come back when it's done and all crumbly so I can show you what it's supposed to look like. There it is. Okay, so I ended up rubbing this with my fingers a bit to get it to break up more. So this is what it looks like when you've made the crumble with cold butter. It's just a bunch, literally it's just a bunch of crumbs. This is what happens when it starts to get too warm. We don't want that warm, we want cold. So we got our nice butter crumble here. Oops. Which we're now going to put on top of our pie. So there it is. That is what our pie looks like before it goes into the oven with the cold butter topping. And this is the original recipe pie that only has cinnamon and nutmeg in it. Okay, so grocery bag from the supermarket, just brown paper bag, and stapler because you need to seal this. Now, as I put this lovely pie into our brown paper bag, our oven is preheated to 400 degrees. I'm going to answer a question that I've heard every single time I've ever made this pie. This bag will not catch on fire. I've never had it happen. I'm not worrying about it today. Pie is in there, and we're just going to seal this. I usually do 3 staples. I fold one corner in, I fold in the other corner. And then I seal off the center. Okay. Oops, come in. There we go. Now this is going to go into the oven for 1 hour. And while it's in there, I'm going to prepare the other pie. And I will show you what the warm butter topping looks like. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing I just did again. The only difference will be the fact that I'll add that extra mace in when I add in my spices, and the butter will be warm. Now, when I say the butter will be warm, right now I have a stick of butter that is sitting on the stove next to the heating element, so it's, well, it's almost room temperature now. I'm hoping that by the time I get to that part, we have what I like to call it at butter splat level for warmth. And that is, well, everybody knows what butter splat weather is. It's when it's so hot out, you put your butter on the counter for a minute, somebody bumps it with their elbow and it splats on the floor. So, with that, I'm waiting for that to be warm enough so that it is almost fluid. And I'm gonna get going. So I will show you the warm topping when I get to it. Okay, so we are now at that point to do our warm butter topping. So this is butter that's just slightly warmer than room temperature. We have hit butter splat. This is liquid. So I'm going to pour in our 1/2 cup flour and our 1/2 cup of sugar. Now, this is exactly the same ratio as last time. The only difference is the temperature of the butter. And as you see, it's just going to turn into a soup. Or not a soup. It's going to turn into kind of a dough. Okay, so instead of crumbling this on, we're going to take a spatula and spread it. And it's going to end up being like, as my friend Heather would tell you, it's like having a sugar cookie on top of your pie. Okay, so we're just going to put that on like that. Alright, and then very gently, using our spatula, we are going to spread this out. I did make a little goof when I was making this pie. I grabbed the wrong bowl. So instead of putting in 2 tablespoons of flour, I put in closer to a 1/4 cup, so about twice that amount. What that means is it's just the center is going to be a little thicker. It's not going to hurt anything. It just won't be as liquidy as the other pie. Got the topping on this one. This one is actually going to be out of the oven in about 10 minutes. It's been about 45-50 minutes since that one went in. As soon as that one comes out, I'm going to prep a brown paper bag. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. When they're done, I will show you them side by side. And tomorrow morning, when we have a chance, I will have Joey try both of the pies, and we'll do side by side comparison and see which one he likes better. Side note, for this pie, I always suggest you serve it a la mode with some vanilla ice cream. Amazing. Alright, I'm gonna take a knife. This is my favorite part. I'm gonna stab the bag open. Ready? Oh, look at that! Oh. Okay, there we go. Here's our second pie out of the oven. And this was the one with the melted butter. Now I'm going to put them side by side so you can see them. Okay, so here are our pies side by side. This one was the one made with the warm butter, and this was made with the cool butter. So this one is my original recipe, and this one has mace in it. And tomorrow morning, after these have cooled and everything, Joey and I will give them a taste test and find out which one we like better. Guess what? We also have thunder.
Yeah.
So if you hear anything in the background during this, we have a thunderstorm coming in here in Massachusetts this morning. Okay, so we have our pies and we have our lovely assistant. Hey, when we match, look, we're both wearing red.
I did that on purpose.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh. So I'm gonna slice both of these, one slice from both of these, and then we'll each try
I
it.
got put away. Well, hello, Draco. Are you coming to say hi? See what's going on? Alright, well, while we wait for the cuttings, come here, kitty. Oh!
You want to do a Draco show?
Say hello, Draco. Oh, yes. I got you. I got you. Relax.
Oh, hi, Mr. Lucky.
I smell pie.
Oh, look at that.
It's not a bad first piece.
No, it isn't. They held together nicely, actually.
Oh, here's our second kitty trying to get a piece of pie.
Okay, so here's the original.
Alright, so this is the one with the cold butter that didn't quite melt all nicely in the beginning.
Oh, no, it's the difference between this butter straight out of the refrigerator versus butter that has been left out in a hot kitchen. So it liquefied. Meow.
It tastes like apple pie.
Yes.
And it's your delicious apple pie.
It's my delicious apple pie. Okay, so now that you have been reminded what my apple pie tastes like, now you're going to try this, and you are going to be the first ever person to try my pie with mace added.
I'm sorry, this is not for kitties. I'm not sure if you guys can hear this.
Yeah, Draco's going crazy at our feet, so if you hear meowing. Should be just a subtle difference.
I'm picking it up.
Is it a worth it difference, though, comes the question.
If you have it on hand, yes.
But I wouldn't go out of my way to get it just for this.
Okay. So, do you know what mace even is? I found out yesterday because I had no idea. Well, I forgot. I probably knew at some point.
My knowledge of it is limited.
Okay. So, mace is the outside husk of a nutmeg.
Oh.
It is the only plant in existence to have two spices come from it.
I wasn't aware at all.
Yeah, I was pretty fascinated when I found out yesterday.
I just associate the name mace with the pepper spray.
Everybody does. Let's try my little practice. Oh, alright.
This one definitely has like more consistency to it overall.
This one had too much flour put into it. Now, do we think that that is a worthwhile adjustment to make permanently?
Yeah, that's not bad. It holds everything together a little bit more, so...
I mean, it was literally, it was completely an accident. I grabbed the wrong container and put twice as much in as I should have.
Yeah.
Okay, so... I have to turn over a piece to Heather so she can tell me what she thinks.
Okay.
It's very subtle. It's very subtle, but it's like a really nice... I like it.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to continue to add just a 1/4 teaspoon. It just gives it a little bit of
At the tail end of it.
At the tail end of it, like a bittery, peppery thing. But my favorite person who loves my pie to death has to give me the final thumbs up. And I can't do that until she's on the other side of the city. I have to send her a piece, and then she can tell me what she thinks. But I really like it. It just at the very end brings a little bit of a peppery, bitter, but it's not overwhelming. It's almost citrusy. I like it. Well, that's it for this.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Bye. Take care. Be safe. Thank you for watching. Hey, want to subscribe? You can click on the purple Christmas tree. Not sure you want to subscribe yet? You want to see more content first? You can click on this video over here. Until next time, take care and be safe.